So Lamar Jackson, and he talked about this during the game broadcast of their preseason opener, the idea that Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator, is receiving input from Lamar Jackson on plays that they could use, pass routes they could use. And when you listen to how he talks about it, and there was also some sound yesterday from Mark Andrews, it's pretty clear this was not the way things were under Greg Roman. So either Lamar Jackson has decided to suddenly start trying, or any efforts in the past were rebuffed and or ignored by Greg Roman. I think that's really the story here. The fact that they've had this pivot philosophically toward not seeking out or listening to input from Lamar Jackson to embracing it. And boy, that could be a huge ingredient in taking that relationship to the next level, Chris.
Well, I'm with you there. I mean, yeah. First off, you got to earn your stripes as a quarterback for the coaches to listen to you and ideas and plays and all of that, right? I think that Lamar Jackson's done enough now to where, yeah, they should listen and at least, like, take into account what he's got to say or what he's thinking or what makes him feel comfortable. And then the other side of that, too, Mike, is just like, that's what a good coach does. And I'm not trying to say, I don't know exactly what Greg Roman did or anything like that. I'm just trying to say a really good offensive coordinator, it's not always like, hey, it's my way or the highway. They make the quarterback feel like they're a part of it, right? You hear me say that phrase sometimes like, hey, the really good OCs I was with or quarterback coaches, I felt like they were in the fight with me, right? And they listened to the things I said. And even John Gruden, going back to that, you know, he would listen to me. Now, whether he would really listen to me and actually want to do some of the things I said, yeah, probably not. But he made me feel like he did. And that went a long way to go like, hey, he's listening to me. He likes my ideas. Hey, we're on the same team here, right? And I think that's just an important communication aspect for the quarterback and offensive coordinator and quarterback coach to have, to not only to get the quarterback to trust you, but then that filters to everybody else, right? I mean, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They weren't listening to Mahomes. He starts some MVP, 50 touchdowns. Hey, wait, you guys want to go around in a circle and then break the huddle? Sure, okay, we'll listen to it. You've earned your stripes. And hopefully that's where Lamar's getting.
Yeah, and that's what the great quarterbacks do. They have input in the design of the offense. They have input in the selection of the plays. They take ownership of the offense. And that's what they need here, because when it's 3rd and 5 and you know Lamar Jackson can run for it, the challenge is going to be calling a play other than Lamar Jackson run the ball, and Lamar Jackson trusting the play that's called other than screw it, I'm just going to run the ball.
Yeah, sure.
That's the key. So everyone's got to be all in with this new approach. If all of a sudden he's going to start throwing the ball a lot more and he's going to try to throw for 6,000 yards, he's got to trust this offense, and one way to do it is to get him involved in its construction. It just makes good sense. And, Chris, I'll depart from the idea that he's got to earn his stripes. I think once you know he's your guy, then you need to treat him like he's your guy. You need to give him a seat at the table. You need to welcome his input. You need to not shut him out and give him the Aaron Rodgers cold shoulder, you just work here, right? I think that if you want to build your team around your quarterback, if you have a guy that you believe is good enough to do that, you got to unlock everything, and it's got to be a two-way street. Yeah. I'm glad the Ravens are doing it.
Yeah.
What's alarming to me is the first 5 years of his career, it never happened, apparently.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you there. And you know, I don't know. I can't speak to that, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he felt like his input was, you know, taken to serious account here. But like to go off of what you said, I hope he trusts it too, because this is the first year we could look at the receiving core with the tight ends and go, they're real. Like, it's real. It's the best talent he's had around him. Now, we need Rashad Bateman to get healthy, but I'm pretty confident that Odell's going to look damn good. We know Mark Andrews is one of the best in football at that position, and I don't know, is it every day or every other day you get a Zay Flowers made this guy look silly in practice? I mean, from what I heard and saw there, he was dominating some of the Washington defenders in one-on-one and 7-on-7 again there. So he's got some weapons here to where hopefully, hey, you can trust them to make the plays. Like you said, it doesn't have to be 3rd and 5. If he's not wide open, I need to run and scramble and make it happen. He's been getting away from that and been better in the pocket, and now he's got an offense, I think, and people around him to where he can really capitalize in that department, and I hope he does.
T. Martin, the quarterback's coach of the Baltimore Ravens, and I believe one of the Brady Six, one of the quarterbacks drafted in 2000 before they got around to Tom Brady at pick number 199. Here he is on the communication between Lamar Jackson and his receivers.
But what we've seen and what I've seen is the communication. When they're in, when they're not in, they miss one, they get right to it and talk about what happened. And that's improvement from the years I've been here and having coached the wide receivers. That speaks to the veteran leadership of Odell, Nelson, Zay being young and kind of watching those guys. That's a good room to come into as a rookie wide receiver. And then Rashad, all those guys, right? So I think Lamar is doing a better job of communicating and talking about what he thinks and how he sees things to them. And that's a step up from years past.
Ownership, maturity, and a conscious awareness that you can't play deep into your 30s with the playing style that we saw. Look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton should still be playing. Cam Newton is young enough to still be playing. But all that abuse physically that he took, running the ball, you get to a point where you just can't do it. You're just not regarded as a guy that is worthy of one of the roster spots. And I think Lamar Jackson very smartly doing what he needs to do to diversify his game and extend his career as deep into his 30s as possible and reaching that next level of overall achievement, awareness, maturity, attention to detail, the things that will make you a better quarterback. He's taking ownership of it. If I'm a Ravens fan, I'm very encouraged by this development.
I am too, and it takes some other people too, and I think that's the cool thing about what T. Martin was saying right there, right? The fact that you get an Odell Beckham Jr. who's been around, seen some offenses, really into the nuance of route running and coverages. Nelson Aguilar, same type of thing. That only ups Lamar's game. It ups the conversations they have all together, and it rubs off on the young guys, and that's what's great. Hey, I'm not gonna be shocked if Lamar can throw that damn ball. He can throw it as good as anybody, and he wants to stay in the pocket and throw the football. And I think he has the capability to make that Steve Young-ish type of turn in his career where, hey, he still can move and do that, but in the pocket, he can dice you up all day long like we saw in the mid to late 90s from Steve Young. In the late 80s, early 90s, you got, I don't know what I'm looking at. I need to just run around and make a play with my legs and do whatever. And that's what you got from Steve Young. And then he matured into this, oh my gosh, West Coast wizardry, and just became an awesome pocket quarterback. I would not be shocked to see Lamar Jackson take that type of turn in his career.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.